So today I'm going to talk about Cobble research at Coastal Processes Group, Scripps Institution for Oceanography. My name is Hiro Matsumoto. I'm a project scientist in that group. And in this webinar, I'll try to talk about three main things. Firstly, I will explain what beach cobbles are, how they influence our coast, and the reasons why we want to study. And this is followed by our research. I will explain how we study cobbles and what we found so far. And lastly, I'd like to discuss our future research plan, try to explain what the current research gaps are and how our future research can possibly address these research gaps. In this first motivation section, I'd like to talk about beach cobbles in general, shore protection using cobbles, and the previous observation of beach cobbles. Cobbles are commonly found in beaches around the world, and this is also true for San Diego beaches or other California beaches, where cobbles are occasionally found as much as sand. However, cobble and sand dynamics are known to be quite different. For example, sand is generally found at any part of a beach, whereas cobbles often sit in the back of a beach, as you can see in the top right image. Also, during storm conditions, sand is often observed to be transported to offshore, whereas cobbles tend to move onshore, often creating cobble berms. One of the unique features of cobbles is that cobbles are actually known to dissipate wave energy more efficiently than sand, and therefore cobbles may better protect inland features such as cliffs and coastal infrastructure, mitigate coastal hazard, and also potentially stabilize beaches, as you can imagine from the image here. And because of these reasons, cobbles actually have been used in a number of projects to better manage coast. For example, in San Diego at Cardiff State Beach, artificial dune was built to protect inland from flooding, and cobbles are used in this structure. Cobble berms, or a hybrid structure of both dune and a berm using cobbles, have also been used in other places along the US West Coast, including Dana Point and Ventura in California, and also Oregon State and Washington State. Cobbles also have been observed to influence our coastline, sometimes negatively. For example, in 2018, at Torrey Pines State Beach, shown on your left, large amount of cobbles piled up at Back Beach, completely blocking a beach access ramp. Similarly, Kuhn and Shepard documented that broken windows of an oceanside house in the top right image were created by cobbles thrown by waves. We also observed at oceanside that cobbles are still thrown by waves, as you can see in the right bottom image, where many cobbles are sitting on a road during a storm event in 2021. All these examples clearly show that cobbles can have a negative impact on our coastal infrastructure. Despite the fact that cobbles are influencing our coast in a number of ways, there have been actually limited number of studies quantitatively looking at cobbles, and as a result, there are still a number of questions remain to be answered. For example, cobble appearance and disappearance are very active in San Diego, as you can see from the bottom photos taken at the exact same locations at Torrey Pines State Beach in November and December 2019. And we still do not know basic cobble behaviors, such as when, where, and in what conditions cobbles appear and disappear in San Diego. We also do not know if cobbles are moving along the coast, and if so, we still do not know how fast they are moving. Also, cobble berms are more and more used in a number of coastal management projects. However, we still don't know the long-term stability of cobble berms, and because of these reasons, we are conducting quantitative cobble research, which I'll be talking about next. So in this section, I'll be presenting 3 Cobble research we are currently conducting: image-based mapping, LiDAR plus machine learning-based mapping, and RFID tracking. And in each section, I'll be briefly explaining what we have found so far. The first research is using camera images to conduct grain size analysis and map the locations of cobbles. Using camera images to conduct grain size analysis is actually not new. However, what is new here is that we developed a mobile camera system with high accuracy GPS, shown in the top left image, and by attaching this camera system to all-terrain vehicle, or ATV, shown in the bottom left image, this system basically allows spatially large-scale mobile grain size estimations, or cobble mapping. We have tested this image-based mobile mapping using a number of images, including cobble images, sand plus cobble images, and sand images. Compare the result with manual grain size estimation using almost 1,000 images, and found the capable skill of the developed approach. We took the developed system out to Torrey Pines State Beach in San Diego and conducted mobile grain size estimations. On your left, this is aerial image obtained from a drone survey for conversion, and the right panel shows the result of image-based mobile mapping with color showing estimated grain size. From these 2 panels, you can see cobble locations are matching each other, as shown with the green circles, which further demonstrate the accuracy of the mobile system. I'd like to point out that this image-based mobile mapping is simple to use, applicable to sand cobble mixed sediment beaches, and has a lot of opportunities because grain size is known to be one of the fundamental characteristics of beach morphology and beach processes, however often understudied. Our team is also mapping cobbles using LiDAR. LiDAR is a laser-applied technology and capable of creating high-resolution, high-accuracy, 3-dimensional maps of both beaches and cliffs, as shown in the left top image as an example. Our team uniquely attached this LiDAR to a truck, as shown in the bottom left image, and keeps generating 3-dimensional maps of the whole San Diego coast to monitor and study. I further developed a method that can automatically process LiDAR data using machine learning and detect surface cobble locations, as shown by the magenta color in the top right image. And using this method, we have been conducting regional scale cobble mapping and cobble berm monitoring. This is the result of regional cobble mapping using LiDAR and machine learning based mapping. And in this study, we map cobbles twice a year in summer and winter across the whole San Diego North County beaches, spanning 40 km longshore, shown in the left map. And in the same map, the white circles show the location of 7 state parks. The middle plot shows cobble exposure calculated using map cobble area, shown in the previous slide as an example, divided by beach areas we also map, with the cobble exposure on x-axis and alongshore location on y-axis. So in the middle plot, if you see large numbers, that means there are more cobbles exposed in that location. The right plot shows beach elevation change, shown on x-axis, and alongshore location on y-axis, similar to the middle plot. And in the right plot, if you see large numbers, that means there was a large beach elevation change in the location, and the color line shows the summer and the winter result. There are a couple points we can find from the middle plot. For example, cobbles are more exposed in winter than summer in general. As you can see, the orange line is generally bigger than a blue line. Secondly, there's a large alongshore variation, but you can actually see cobble exposures are generally larger between South Carlsbad and San Elijo, as highlighted by gray shade. Which is actually quite interesting because in the right plot, summer and winter beach elevation changes are also generally small at the same location between South Carlsbad and San Elijo, also highlighted by gray shade. This indicates that there may be a possible relationship between cobble exposure and seasonal beach elevation change. However, I'd like to say further investigations are necessary because shallow bedrock also exists in this area between South Carlsbad and San Elijo. Using LiDAR and machine learning based mapping, we've been investigating cobble berms at South Carlsbad and Torrey Pines with the two locations shown in the left map, and the middle images show the cobble berm pictures, and the right panels are showing the crusher profiles of cobble berms at the two locations, in summer in blue and the following winter in red, and color dots are showing the locations of summer and winter cobbles. We can see from the top crusher result that there was a winter correction change in the South Carlsbad cobble berm, highlighted by the dashed black circle, meaning that cobble berm became big in winter. In contrast, although similar winter correction elevation change was observed in the Torrey Pine cobble berm, the change was relatively small. Furthermore, there was a lot of sand on the beach at Torrey Pines in summer, creating sandy berm, whereas there was less sand on the beach both in summer and the winter at South Carlsbad. There are actually a lot more differences between the two cobble berms. However, I think the biggest message of this study is that there is a large variations in natural cobble berm behavior, and this regional scale study allows us to investigate a range of natural cobble berm behaviors. The last research I'm going to talk about today is RFID cobble tracking. RFID, or radio frequency identification, consists of a reader and tag that has a unique identification number, and by attaching these tags to object, RFID allows object tracking. This RFID has been used in a number of science studies, such as animal tracking, and we have been using this RFID to track cobbles and study cobble transport. In order to attach about 3 cm long RFID tags to cobbles, we made holes in cobbles using a drill. We also broke a lot of cobbles as shown in the right bottom image, and placed the tags inside the holes, sealed with epoxy resin, and made a number of RFID cobbles shown in the top right image. So we also made a custom-made mobile and handheld RFID tracking systems shown in the left images in order to efficiently but also thoroughly look for RFID cobbles. This video shows RFID cobble tracking fieldwork, and you can see the mobile system going back and forth repeatedly looking for RFID cobbles. We have been conducting RFID cobble tracking at Torrey Pines State Beach since 2020, and we released 349 RFID cobbles in total at 2 different timings. On November 2020, we first released 200 RFID cobbles at 2 locations on the beach shown in red color, 1N and 1S. About a month later, on December 2020, we further released additional 149 RFID cobbles at a location closer to the first 1N release location, shown with purple color. Since then, we have conducted 35 RFID tracking surveys, and recovery rates range between 30 and 90%. I'm now going to play a movie to show how the RFID cobbles moved through time and how RFID cobble movement was related to wave condition. In the left panel, you see the RFID cobble movement, and in the right panel, you see the corresponding wave height conditions shown with the black dot. After the first release, RFID cobbles moved relatively actively, but as soon as the second RFID cobbles were released, shown in blue, all the RFID cobbles start moving very actively, which is most likely related to large winter wave event, as you can see in the right plot. However, this active RFID cobble movement ceases in summer when waves are small, but again, when large winter waves started coming in, RFID cobbles started moving again. We have analyzed all the RFID cobble data obtained over the last 2 years in order to generalize the RFID cobble movement, and here is what we found. We found that the movement of 1N and 2 were actually quite similar, and they both moved to back beach where elevation was generally high and kept staying there, whereas 1S kept moving south. This contrasting behavior between 1N or 2 and 1S is likely because of the fact that cobble berm existed near the location of 1N and 2, indicated by the dashed white line, and 1N and 2 RFID cobbles seems to have been incorporated into this cobble berm, whereas 1S RFID cobbles failed to be part of this cobble berm, stayed at lower elevations, and kept moving south. What does this mean is that, firstly, cobbles are likely to be more stable at high elevations, such as cobble berms, and then secondly, cobble transport is likely dependent on initial cobble location. We believe these understandings are quite important and are relevant to cobble apply project because we want to place the cobbles at locations with minimal cobble transport. In this last section, I'd like to discuss about our future cobble research plan and how the future research can potentially further improve cobble understanding, particularly cobble berms. We have been conducting a number of quantitative and high spatial resolution cobble research over the last few years, but what is missing is high temporal resolution cobble observations. To address this, we would like to develop a continuous monitoring system using LiDAR and cameras shown on your right, and continuously monitor cobble berm changes and wave processes acting on cobble berms. We have been testing this system in our lab and found the feasibility of continuous monitoring. We are currently planning to install this system at South Carlsbad State Beach and Torrey Pines State Beach, where natural cobble berm exists. In this talk, I have shown that cobble berm behaviors were different between South Carlsbad State Beach and Torrey Pines State Beach, and we wonder if this is related to a difference in the amount of sand within the cobble berm system, whether it is pure cobbles or sand cobble mix, because we saw there are a lot of sand at the Torrey Pines Beach in summer compared to South Carlsbad State Beach. To investigate this, we are currently planning to excavate cobble berms multiple times this winter at both South Carlsbad State Beach and Torrey Pines State Beach, at the locations where cobble berms are continuously monitored by the developing monitoring station shown in the previous slide. We are hoping this research, both continuous monitoring and multiple excavations of cobble berms, will provide numerous insight into natural cobble berm behaviors. In summary, I've shown that cobbles are a very important feature, not only in San Diego beaches, but also other California beaches. But more research is necessary because there have been limited quantitative observation in the past, and therefore our understanding is still limited. Our team is currently conducting a number of quantitative research, primarily mapping and tracking natural cobbles, and find numerous behaviors of natural cobbles. We are planning to further expand our cobble research, particularly focusing on cobble berms, with a hope that we generate information relevant to ongoing and future cobble apply project. For more information or with any questions, please check out our website. Also, I'll be happy to answer any questions, and please email me. My name is Hiro Matsumoto, and you can find me hi.matsumoto@ucsd.edu. Thank you very much.